During trial, at no point did Satoshi show any remorse for his actions to the victims. He did, however, admit that he was sorry to the families, before proceeding to bite a his own finger off as an act of apology. The stunt failed to mean anything though, as he continued to persist up to that point to disable feet. Recognizing the island, the verdict was finally made. Satoshi was formally found guilty of 19 counts of murder, 28 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of legal confinement causing injury, 3 counts of legal confinement, 1 count of lawful entry, and 1 count of violating assault and violence. The prosecution then announced that they were seeking the death penalty, calling his rampage inhumane that left no room for leniency. And on the 16th of March 2020, Satoshi was officially given his sentence to death by the Yokohama District Court.
I lack information pertinent to this task. Consider hiring a pawn
Data
better
this
at
period
such
that
matters.
Satoshi Matsu is still alive and in prison, yet facing assault and security risks. And contained backgrounds, effective and dying process. Denying their names and faces is like denying them their humanity. Following other tragic stories from around the world, we remember the victims, what they were like, and what defined them. And through that, their remembrance puts heavy emptiness to a place that was taken by a killer. Brushing who the victims are away strips them of their worth, and in turn suppresses the attention that's given towards a case. There were no charities or news articles, no hashtags on Twitter, no campaigns or GoFundMe, and the story itself quieted down all too quickly. And while the will of the victims' family members should be respected, the stigma and shame around disabled people in Japan should not be ignored. It's a bias that, tragically, played a heavy part to this case. Following Satoshi's crime, both Japan and the rest of the world have become more aware of their perceptions towards people with disabilities. But whether Japan will learn from this and from its disturbing past is still yet to be seen. With the Paralympics Games currently set to be performed in Tokyo later this year, opportunities to normalise and improve on perceptions over disabilities are aplenty. So let's see where they go from here. And back in Sagamihara, families and friends still pay tribute to the victims. They lay flowers once a month outside the facility, which was demolished and rebuilt in 2016. And although some of the victims' names and faces have finally been revealed, most are still kept in the dark. Hopefully one day, this type of stigma and discrimination against disabled people will finally cease to exist. And maybe even the case of Satoshi Uematsu will become a vital lesson that was learned along the way. While most of Japan's dark stories are quite understandably written by Japanese residents, our next one comes from the horrible actions of an American Marine. In fact, this case caused quite the stir between American and Japanese authorities.
I lack information
So,
pertinent
without any
to this
further
task.
ado, let's travel south.
Consider hiring a pawn better at such matters.
Now, I've always said that Japan as a country is extremely diverse when it comes to climate. And perhaps not many of you know this, but Northern Japan actually has the highest snowfall per year when compared to any other country. Today's video looks at the stark opposite of this, as example is Japan's version of tropical paradise.
They have
It's a popular destination for Japanese natives, slant, waves and warm, and centimeters of laid back atmosphere to the island makes up another special. Almost one citizen culture that has a population. It's also a destination that has a heavy Western influence, from its beach culture to its local landscapes. Strangely, it's not out of an island. This was the reason influence on them, as 25% of the population on a military basis. United States. It's no secret that local people of Okinawa are peaceful arrangements, as 60% of their small 160 square meter island is consumed by its military presence. This has been a point of contention between the US and Japan since World War II. But this Okinawa is a laid-back island, German people. City, we find 20-year-old Helen is a small and ready mine. She was a hard-working employee in a corporate office, which at her age was rather admirable. For the most part, she was independent, and she was a very self-driven young woman. She was admired in the workplace and by those around her, and yet sensible attitude towards life.
Let us not disturb them.
Rena grew
The
up as
cry
the
of
only
the
daughter of
carriage
keeping to herself, but liked by those around her for a polite
Whatever it is
personality.
you need, I shall
She was
gladly
also known to break out some impressive dancing and singing skills when around those who
I
were
lack
comfortable
information
with.
pertinent to this
Growing
task.
up, Rena always
Consider
desired
hiring a pawn
siblings to
better
share
advised
attention.
of such matters.
And so, as she became older, one of
It isn't
Rita's
as
main
broken as it
ambitions was to have
seems.
children.
I would have
Telling her
preferred
friends
not
she
to
was
have
named
to
by
fight so
parents.
soon, but at least I know I am up to the
This
challenge.
opportunity made them
We must not let down our
As in
role.
2015, Rita began a relationship with a local Okinawan man.
Never have I
Due to
encountered
the nature
such
of Japanese
strategy.
media, that
Now that is a
they're
girl.
both being peaceful. So for the sake of this story, we will call him Hinata. What we do know about Hinata is he was an attentive and respectful partner, and he treated Rina well. We know this, as Rina's new boyfriend quickly gained her parents' approval, something which often makes or breaks a relationship in Japan. Things were going so well between the two that eventually they moved in together, getting an apartment in Uruma City. And settling into their everyday lives, they slipped into a routine. Rina and Hinata would work on the weekdays to cherish their moments together on the weekends. In the following months, the couple described their relationship as healthy and content, and this routine would carry them for several months more. Until all of a sudden, tragedy would blindside their peace in April of 2016. On a
I
mild
lack
spring evening,
information
Rita decided to head
pertinent
out
to this task.
It had
Consider
been one
hiring
day
a
sitting
pawn
in the
better
office,
advised of
so
such
she
matters.
figured she would go out to stretch her legs. At around 8 p.m. that evening, just before dusk, she slipped into her red sneakers and put on a parka. She was
Usually you put people to soar to greater heights.
line, which is the most popular way to classify text in Japan. But she had once had been less. She messaged her friends to say that she was going out for a walk and would be back later on in the evening, which was nothing out of the ordinary. Taking her usual route along the edge of the canal, she took in the evening express service. She saw
You are allow me. Wait right there.
what else is actually in the world? She fell asleep. So this
Most impressive master.
But as the hours passed by, in midnight, the incessant wind of the rain began to water them.
Yes, master. I shall hasten to your aid.
Space. So by 2 a.m., he sent her a single text message to say he was signing off for the which after a few minutes was not his right. She get this meant she was okay. Maybe she bumped into a friend and wanted to plan to catch up. Dad gets ready to stop the couple to be proceedings themselves. And so Hinata went to bed, expecting to see or hear from Rina in the morning. Maybe then they could catch up and talk about where she'd been over the evening. But as the morning arrived, there was still no sign of Rina anywhere. She hadn't returned home or replied to his message, despite this message being marked as read. This didn't sit right with Hinata, and so on the morning of April the 29th, he contacted local police to report his girlfriend, Rina Jokokuro, as missing. Police were rather quick to arrive at the residence, and while there they began their investigations, asking whether his girlfriend had such information as they could. In parallel to this, Rina's friends had been to social media the missing. And soon enough, speculation started to spread like wildfire around the site interviews. And following that reply, multiple theories arose. Some believed it was a random production, some believed the boyfriend had something to do with it, while others speculated cult activity. And as the police seriously linked Rita's disappearance, the police released the just days passed by without any action. Inside the time event, some lines and rallies.
Master!
This
Defend
was
the arisen! Whatever
Whatever
it is you need, I shall gladly. Look out, arisen! Under attack! It seems we have enraged our foe. Might we not use their rage in our advantage? Understood.
In fact, this made me so bad that Charlie ended up taking care of the therapy and outside relationship, which made his recent experience ultimately Kenneth was into loss again so but here life was in my past at age 18 Kenneth moved into a certain place in his life. Eventually he joined the police.
Fight our justice is precious indeed. Let us endeavour to obtain it. And what good will that do us if we don't try? You must needs focus. I shall not fail you. This was when Kenneth's skull was spotted on cameras around the same area and time Marina disappeared. So, why was he here? Did he have anything to do with it? And I
why
lack
was the
information
listening suspiciously?
Consider hiring a pawn vendor outside of such matters. The way forward is unclear.
He denied any involvement,
How are we
and
to
he asked us
proceed?
full questions to
A
accept
skill of
his
mine would be of use
stand.
in this
However,
situation.
they did seize Kenneth's
Might I be
car
of
and managed
assistance?
to conduct their own forensic analysis, but the results from this would take several days to come back. And so, with that said, Kenneth was
I'd
released
sooner
from
not
his
battle
custody
those
as
with
there
whom we
was
have
no
no
evidence
quarrel.
of
Yet if they mean us harm, we can but defend us.
expect that, under all the
You have my
circumstances,
support.
he would return home to his family. That is not what Kenneth had in mind. Instead, he made his way to a local drugstore, purchased an extortionate amount of sleeping pills, and purchased a 2-litre bottle of whiskey. And you can probably guess what his plans were.
I should not like to
Next
face the
morning,
trials of
Kenneth
company
attempted to
out
take
in
his
the
own life, but after
A
ultimately
fair
failing, he
observation.
was admitted to his local
Mayhap would be
hospital.
worth considering, Master.
Unfortunately, it gets worse. As the very next day after being released, he was once again rushed to hospital. After
When
telling
charged,
his
be sure to avoid
his
open flame.
his behavior is reactionary to the situation. Just one day after Kenneth's
I shan't allow any further harm to come. And instead, he gave his version of the events which unfolded on the 20th of April 2016. It was in this evening, Ken was running around about next spotted sunlight bright even though the easy hours. You see, Ken claims that he specialized about things, even so as far as facts on about the expectation that they're going to kill other people, but taunting and restraining from it for their own mountain's desires. That's the lives of this situation is far better than visions. That's it. Taking no offense, I suppose. Almost as if it was planned, thought of Ken's size. Kenneth might have blooded environment to pursue more.
I lack information
That was behind
pertinent
her
to
and
this
stretched
task.
arrows in the head with a metal
Consider
rod.
hiring a pawn
Kenneth
better
grabbed her,
possessed of such
dragged her to a nearby area, and then assaulted her.